It was a quiet week here in South Texas. Due to the U.S. holiday Thanksgiving, I didn't have any production days this week, and I'm so happy we've got the mild weather now. Makes me reminisce of my 20 years living in Southern California. The weather was like this for like 10 months of the year. Prepping cameras and audio for my next project. It's corporate, sit down, up to 5 people on camera. They're going to be sitting in like high top bar type chairs. So the bid only called for 2 cameras, but I'm going to throw in the FX3 if it's conducive to the framing, just because I want to clock a little bit more time running that FX3 in a multi-camera interview type situation. Because I'm getting more calls for this stuff, like corporate podcasts on camera is what I'm calling it. So I built this battery plate to run a gold mount battery on my FX3, as well as powering the Hollyland wireless transmitter. Reason I'm going wireless is I don't want to run an HDMI cable and across the room to the big monitor. And at that point, if I'm going to run a converter, I might as well just go wireless. So getting the camera all configured for the record specs of the project. Same with the FX9s. This one calls for 2997 drop frame. I'm just going to do AVC long in 50 megabit mode because I have to upload everything the night of the shoot. I mean, it kind of gets there when it gets there. It's not super urgent, but it's not a drive transfer or FedEx. So no reason to shoot AVCI, although they did call for S-Log3, S-Gamut3, but it's for talking head corporate stuff. I've had no problems shooting S-Log in the AVC-L mode. One of the frustrating limitations on the FX9s is when you're in 1080 record in S-Log, they output the log image. You can't record, log, and output a LUT, but you can select those scenarios in UHD mode. So because of that, I'm setting up a Flanders, one of my BM210s, with a quad split box, and I'll load the LUT into the monitor. It just kind of frustrates me. I guess it's just newer technology, but the FX3 can record in S-Log and output a custom LUT over the HDMI port, as well as displaying the LUT on the onboard LCD screen. But the flagship cameras in the FX line cannot do that in 1080. So while I have the Flanders set up, I also wanted to take an opportunity to make sure that the firmware is current, because it's been several years, but it is. Turns out the most recent firmware for my monitor is 2018. This monitor was actually manufactured in 2014, so next year I'll have a full decade of service. I have a second one. It's the same model, but it's a couple of years more recent. So I wasn't able to get the custom LUT I wanted loaded into the monitor. Not quite sure why, but I did get an S-Log3 just default Sony conversion. It looks like a Cinetone, which it's bringing me, I would say, halfway to final. I'd like to see something more saturated, more contrasty for all the clients to look at and to evaluate just lighting ratios on the day. So next up, checking out all the audio. I just purchased the Auto Mix. I forget what it's called. The Auto Mix plugin for the Sound Devices mixer. So whichever lav has the highest level of the speaker, that'll be the mix out. I was playing with it at the kitchen table. It appears to work great. And then I've got locket boxes on all 3 cameras, and I got the Smart Slate synchronized. So I'm going to leave the lockets on the cameras, and just everything's going to go in the truck prepped with cards loaded and formatted, ready to go on the day. Same with the quad split and the Flanders monitor. All those components are in that one Pelican, ready to travel. And then I think I'm going to run my two Lectro wireless mics, and then the other 3 lavs will be hardwired. Although I do have one more TA5 to XLR adapter, so I might just go 1 wireless Lectro and the rest hardwired. That way I can run I only have 3 Sankins, so to use all 3, I could do 2 wireless and 1 hardwired, or 2 hardwired, 1 wireless, and then everything else are just older tram mics, direct patched. All right, the next 2 weeks are going to be pretty busy. I might stretch it out into multiple vlogs because they're all so different, but I've got 9 shoot days. All but 1 have confirmed, and that's for 5 different projects. Most of these projects are back-to-back without a reset day, and as I mentioned in my previous vlog, because there's agencies and multiple layers involved, most of these want me to get on all-hands Zoom calls, and they're all conflicting with days I'm on set. So I'll share with you how it all plays out in next week's vlog. Thanks for watching.